Arlene Foster. Arlene Isabel Foster MLAPC is a Northern Irish politician who has been the leader of the Democratic Unionist Party since December 2015 and a member of the Northern Ireland Assembly for Fermanagh and South Tyrone since 2003. Foster served in the Northern Ireland Executive as Minister of the Environment from 2007 until 2008, Minister for Enterprise and Investment from 2008 until 2015 and Minister for Finance and Personnel from 2015 until 2016. In January 2016, Foster became First Minister of Northern Ireland and shared power with Martin McGuinness. McGuinness resigned as Deputy First Minister in January 2017 amid the Renewable Heat Incentive scandal, which involved a green energy scheme that Foster set up during her time as Minister for Enterprise and Investment. The scheme was set to cost the taxpayer £490 million, and there were allegations of corruption surrounding the scheme. McGuinness asked Foster to step aside as First Minister while her involvement in the scheme was investigated, but she refused to step aside or resign, and claimed that the voices calling for her resignation were those of misogynists and male chauvinists. Under the terms of the Northern Ireland Power-Sharing Agreement, the First and Deputy First Ministers are equal and, therefore, Foster could not remain in her post as First Minister. McGuinness' resignation caused a snap election to be held. Background: Foster was raised in the townland of Dernawilt, County Fermanagh, located between Lesnaskey and Raleigh, and is a member of the Protestant Church of Ireland. Her experience with the Troubles began early in her life, when a nighttime attempt was made to kill her father, a Royal Ulster Constabulary reservist, who was shot in the head at their family farm. She spent several of her childhood years competing in sport as a jockey for the local horse racing team in County Londonderry. As a teenager, Foster was on a school bus that was bombed by the IRA. The vehicle targeted, because its driver was a soldier in the Ulster Defence Regiment. She was a pupil at Enniskillen Collegiate Grammar School in Enniskillen, County Fermanagh from 1982 to 1989. She was educated at Queen's University, Belfast, where she graduated with an LL.B. degree. It was at Queen's University where her political career began after joining the Queen's Unionist Association, part of the Ulster Unionist Party. She served as the association's chairman from 1992 to 1993. After leaving Queen's University, she remained active in the UUP, chairing its youth wing, the Ulster Young Unionist Council, in 1995. In 1996, she became an honorary secretary of the UUP's ruling body, the Ulster Unionist Council, a position which she held until her resignation from the UUP on the 18th of December 2003. Assembly career: she was elected as an Ulster Unionist in the 2003 Assembly elections. While a member of the UUP, she was part of a right-wing cabal within the UUP known as the Baby Barristers. They actively opposed party leader David Trimble, and were a thorn in his side after he supported the Belfast Agreement. In 2004, Foster resigned from the UUP and joined the Democratic Unionist Party, together with fellow Assembly members Jeffrey Donaldson and Nora Beer. She was selected as the DUP's candidate for Fermanagh and South Tyrone in the 2005 UK general election, where she gained 28.8% of the vote. Negotiations took place between the local branches of the DUP and UUP with the aim of finding an agreed unionist candidate. The negotiations broke down, with neither party willing to accept the electoral dominance of the other, the UUP claiming Foster's defection to the DUP disguised the reality of the UUP's electoral strength, while the DUP pointed to the change in the Unionist political landscape following the 2003 Assembly election and the 2004 European Parliament election. The UUP candidate was Tom Elliott. Foster finished second in the 2005 general election with 14,056 votes. On the 11th of January 2010, she assumed the duties of the First Minister of Northern Ireland, as Peter Robinson stepped aside for a planned period of up to 6 weeks. Foster worked along with the Deputy First Minister Martin McGuinness. Robinson returned earlier than planned, on the 3rd of February 2010. Minister for the Environment. In September 2007, a privately financed proposal for a new Giant's Causeway Centre was given preliminary approval by Foster in her role as the new Northern Ireland Environment Minister. Immediately afterwards, the public money that had been allocated to the causeway development was frozen. The proposal resulted in a public row about the relationship between the private developer Seymour Sweeney and the DUP. Sweeney was a member of the DUP, although both parties denied that he had ever donated financially to the party. On the 29th of January 2008, Foster announced that she had decided against Sweeney's proposal for a new visitors centre, reversing her earlier position of being minded to approve it. Although the public funds for a causeway scheme remained frozen for the time being, it seemed highly likely that the publicly funded plan for the causeway would now go ahead after all. It seemed highly likely that the publicly funded plan for the causeway would now go ahead after all. Minister for Enterprise, Trade and Investment. As the minister responsible for energy policy, in June 2012 Foster attacked the cooperative group over the showing of a documentary opposing fracking, saying, "I find your claim that you take ethics to the next level hard to reconcile with your demonstrable support for a film which presents a wholly one-sided and partial approach to the debate about hydraulic fracturing." Controversy. In March 2014 Foster became embroiled in controversy after demanding an apology for what she described as deeply insulting language in a comment made by fellow MLA, Anna Lowe, of the Alliance Party of Northern Ireland. Lowe had described herself as anti-colonial and said the partition of Ireland was artificial. Foster herself was challenged over the fact that she had chosen to speak out so robustly on the matter, after remaining silent about arguably much more controversial comments made the previous day by another unionist politician, Progressive Unionist Party leader Billy Hutchinson. Hutchinson had said in a newspaper interview that he had no regrets in terms of my past, because I believe that I contributed to preventing a united Ireland. With regard to the sectarian murders of 2 Catholic men in 1974. In January 2016, as she was poised to become First Minister, Foster caused controversy by saying she would not be travelling to Dublin for the official centenary celebrations of the 1916 uprising against British rule, describing the rising as an attack on democracy. Renewable Heat Incentive scandal. In December 2016, Foster faced criticism and controversy after a whistleblower revealed that the Renewable Heat Incentive scheme overspent by £400 million, a failure which has been nicknamed the Cash for Ash scandal. The scheme was originally set up by the Department of Enterprise, Trade and Investment, when she was Minister of the Department, and the scheme offered incentives to businesses if they installed renewable heating systems. such as burning wooden pellets. She faced strong criticism after it was claimed that she personally campaigned to keep the scheme open, even when senior civil servants warned of the overspend and the minister responsible, Jonathan Bell, planned on closing it. It remained open for an extra 2 weeks before it was finally closed. It was also revealed that the Northern Ireland budget would lose £400 million over the next 20 years as a result of the failure of the scheme. An independent audit investigated 300 sites and found there were issues at half of them, including 14 cases where there were suspicions of serious fraud. When senior civil servants suggested the closure of the scheme in September 2015, the Executive Office pressured the department to keep the scheme open, which is when there was a spike in applications. There were calls for Foster to resign as First Minister after the scandal broke. On 9 January 2017, McGuinness resigned as Deputy First Minister, under the terms of the power-sharing agreement that created what is now the Executive Office. His resignation has also resulted in Foster being removed from office until Sinn Féin nominates a new Deputy First Minister. The party stated that it will not replace McGuinness. No nomination was made before the 16th of January, resulting in the collapse of the executive. James Brokenshire, the Secretary of State for Northern Ireland, assumed the powers of the executive and called for a snap election scheduled for the 2nd of March. In a statement posted to Facebook, Foster said that she was disappointed with McGuinness' decision and condemned it as not principled at a time when we are dealing with Brexit, needing to create more jobs and investing in our health and education system. Northern Ireland needs stability, but because of Sinn Féin's selfish reactions, we now have instability, and I very much regret that. She expressed concern over the possibility of another election less than a year after the previous one, and said, "This is not an election of our making, but that the DUP will always defend unionism and stand up for what is best for Northern Ireland." Personal life. Foster and her husband Brian have 3 children. Foster was a councillor on Fermanagh District Council representing Enniskillen Ward from 2005 to 2010. In 2008, she was recognised as Assembly Member of the Year at the Women in Public Life Awards. Foster supports Scottish football club Rangers. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe below. Please like and subscribe below.